This is delightful. I'm so glad we came here. Feel those vibrations at Camp Video Games.
Well, howdy, campers. Welcome back to Camp Video Games. This is Junior Counselor Sean, and this fella right next to me, that's Junior Counselor Josh.
Hello, campers.
Well, listen.
Junior Camp Counselor Josh is here, and let me tell you, there's nothing I'm more thrilled about to talk in the world than the lauded, much beloved children's animated series, Donkey Kong Country.
That's right, campers. And listen, we've gotten some questions from some of the campers' parents. I'm not going to name names, but Timmy, your mom's kind of a bitch. But
oh, dude, she would not shut up.
She asked a pretty basic question that I feel like we should address here. Do we have any video games here at Camp Video Games? The answer is no. That's why we're describing them to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that might be considered false advertising, blah, 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 blah.
Well, we have the ones we play as demonstrations, but the kids aren't allowed to play them.
No, absolutely not.
Video games are not for children.
No.
As we will learn from this very serious animated adaptation of a very serious video game, Donkey Kong Country.
Video games are for people entering middle agedom and gracefully, very gracefully.
Yeah, very gracefully for us to collect Funko Pops of all of our favorite characters, surround ourselves with them, be comforted by them, and never face adulthood.
I'm still drinking Four Loko with the caffeine in it.
Oh, hell yeah,
That's
dude.
That's what real big
Hell
boys
yeah.
do.
I do that before I take the kids on a canoe. I think a few drowned. Their parents will call if it's a problem. Anyway, let's talk about Donkey Kong Country, the animated series.
That's right. We're talking Donkey Kong Country, the animated series, for some reason. Listen, this is actually
dude.
Shout out to a Patreon subscriber who requested this. Big shout out. I'm not gonna say your name, but thanks, homie. The Donkey Kong Country cartoon, or animated series feels more appropriate because it's not a cartoon. When I think cartoon, I think hand drawn.
Right.
This is 3D animation in the mid to late 90s. The show
Mid is
premiered.
right.
The show mid. The show premiered in 1996 in France originally, and then it came over to the rest of the world in 1997. Why the French had first dibs, we'll never know. But
insane thing to happen.
It's incroyable. Well, look, this cartoon's charming. It's got a theme song. It has characters and there's a setting and well, okay, so here's what's gonna happen, campers. We're firmly in season 2 now here at Camp Video Games, and this season we're doing some one-offs. We're not gonna do the whole Legend of Zelda treatment for every animated series that we come across. We're just gonna talk about the pilot for this cartoon.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, play that shit
Listen
loud.
to this Lin-Manuel Miranda ass theme song. This sucks.
You know what? I hate Hamilton. I'm gonna put that right up front. I hate Hamilton. I don't want to learn history through rap. I'll learn the history of rap. That's fascinating to me. But I really dislike it.
Yeah, this is a little more like his what he's contributed to the Disney universe is what this sounds like.
I don't know much about Lin.
He's done a bunch of Disney movies now. It's actually kind of odd. So basically anytime there's a Disney movie now that is like, oh, the characters aren't white, doesn't matter what part of the world they're from, they call in Lin-Manuel Miranda to do like the ethnically, culturally appropriate music.
Okay.
It's really problematic.
Interesting.
Like their attempt to be more diverse is very problematic.
Oh, he's our diversity guy. We've got one diversity guy. Okay, look. Look.
Speaking of problematic attempts at diversity, let's get into the Donkey Kong Country animated series.
So
it was a different time, and it was France, first off.
Yeah, what's up with that? Je ne sais pas, man. The French, French cooking is like kind of overrated too, in my opinion. It's just like mostly just too much butter, not enough salt. They have bad taste. I'll just say it out loud. No, okay. Donkey Kong Country. This came probably so the first Donkey Kong video game, which we covered last episode. The first Donkey Kong came out in 1994. Donkey Kong Country, that is. And this show premiered in 96/97, depending on where you lived. And at that point, I mean, we had already evolved into the Nintendo 64 at this point, and I'm not sure what year Donkey Kong 64 came out, but it could be argued that this was made to help, carry some steam for that game, as well as tap in on a pretty successful franchise from the Super Nintendo era with Donkey Kong Countries 1 through 3.
Yeah, no, this is completely divorced from Donkey Kong 64 because that game came out, 1, in 1999.
Okay.
And 2, it introduces a whole new batch of Kongs.
Cool.
That are not in this. The Kongs of this world.
Of Donkey Kong Country.
This is like alternate universe Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah. Well, we got, we'll go through the roster of characters that we're going to see here. We're going to see Donkey Kong, shocker. His little ward, Diddy Kong. I don't know what the relationship
buddies.
is.
They're just buddies.
I just don't get it.
They're best friends.
And then we got Candy Kong, who looks kind of like Daisy Duke from the Dukes of Hazzard.
I think they're going more for like I don't know, what comes to mind is like Rosie Perez and like Do the Right Thing. Like definitely the show is like, I don't mean this in any weird way, like the show is black coded.
Yeah.
like
I
Candy Kong's aesthetic is like, this is what like a hot black girl in the 90s dresses like.
I mean, she looks great. I don't know I don't know how else to say it. Like, she does look good. And she's curvaceous and she's showing some fur, and
and also Rosie Perez is Latina, I believe. I don't want to mix up stuff, but like
the voice actors in this
culturally, that's kind of like where the voice actors pull from.
I would assume that we've got some black voice actors in this as well.
I'd certainly hope so.
Yeah,
based
I would
on some
too.
things we're about to, to hear and discuss.
So, okay, campers, we're talking about the pilot episode of the Donkey Kong Country animated series, and this one's titled Bad Hair Day. And after watching this, it's really, the appeal of the show is pretty easy to pin down. Like, it's bright, it's goofy, it's not too serious. The music's okay. And it's topping in on some beloved IP that that'll get they get a lot of mileage out of this. This is a 2-season show that went for 50 episodes.
It's 40 some episodes.
That's wild, because it seems like at the end of this episode they were already out of ideas.
It seemed within 5 minutes of this episode they were out of ideas.
Okay, let's get into episode 1 of the Donkey Kong Country show. It takes place in the magical land of Congo Bongo.
I feel racist saying that.
I am trying to be very delicate in how I'm saying these things. As two Caucasian men talking about this show, it is important that we make it clear that we didn't come up with these names. That we didn't do this.
Yeah.
This is not our fault.
Yeah. Strange show. Opening the opening is already like bonkers.
Yeah. So we got Cranky Kong playing a pipe organ. He's doing some like blues kind of riffing on it. And Cranky Kong is okay. So if you didn't listen to the last episode, like Cranky Kong is the original Donkey Kong. He's the Donkey Kong that was throwing barrels at Mario back at the arcade. And it seems like he's kind of like the narrator of the show. Like, or he's like the intro, like the hype guy, the hype beast.
It's supposed to be a lore dump to set up the world of the show.
Yeah.
But the whole time I watched it, I was baffled by. Okay, we got a few things to.
Yeah.
To here.
It kind of like slams you with some info at the very beginning of the show, which is essentially made for kids, and they were just like, okay, first pay attention, which is never a good move.
Yeah. I was first stunned by the music. This is a musical show.
It is very much so.
There are musical performances throughout the show. I think understanding that it was French first helps, because the vocal performances, well, first, the music itself is weird. It's weird. I don't know how else to put it. Like, it is not aesthetically pleasing. Like, the actual music that they sing to is often like has some weird discordant value to it. And then the singing, quote unquote, it's almost like they were told to sing a song, but they weren't allowed to hear the instrumental.
That's a really good point, especially when we get to the Candy Kong song later. Yeah. It's
holy moly. It's weird.
It's weird. So, okay, we meet Cranky Kong, and he's playing the pipe organ, and he tells us that they have this thing. They basically have the Triforce of wisdom in Congo Bongo land, and it's called the Crystal Coconut.
Sure, man.
And it's the MacGuffin of the show. It seems to be like that's what King K. Rool wants, and that's what they want to protect. Not their banana horde, as it is in the game.
Bananas.
I thought it was all about bananas.
We didn't need a new MacGuffin. Like, bananas made sense. Bananas are a consumable resource, that you can sustain, your culture, your population with. The Kongs have it. The Kremlins don't. There's a conflict. But now there's this MacGuffin of the Crystal Coconut, which I don't know what it does.
One of the most recent Indiana Jones and the Crystal Coconut.
The Crystal Kingdom? There's a crystal something.
Crystal Skull. I was just
Crystal
making
Skull.
a dumb joke. So sure, there's a MacGuffin in this world, and it's, in my opinion, unnecessary. Like, what we just got some primates. Like, just keep it simple.
We have this issue of Cranky does a show don't tell with the Crystal Coconut.
Yes.
It's just like, here's the Crystal Coconut. What is it? He's like, and he's still in his weird sing talking energy. He's like, it's a fortune teller. It fulfills wishes.
It'll teleport you. It'll do all this crazy stuff.
Yeah, but we never see that happen.
No, not once. Not once. So great job. And so it should be said that like this episode is we're used to, at this point, Junior Counselor Josh, we're used to talking about like 13-minute episodes. This is a 22-minute episode.
Dear God.
And it feels pretty long. I have to say that the character models are very upsetting. We've
reached the uncanny valley of 3D computer generated images.
The 3D modeling of like low budget it looks low budget, even though this probably took a lot of work to make. Did you ever watch Reboot?
I was just gonna ask about Reboot.
Yeah. Like, where it's just like we kind of talked about this with the Donkey Kong Country video game discussion, where it's like the whole gimmick was just that it's 3D.
Yeah.
And like that seems to be this show too, where they're like, oh boy, like, we sure got this figured out. And
And they sure didn't.
They're still making shit like this. Like
I know, that's what's really upsetting to me.
Like these days in the 2020s, we're still getting like bad 3D shows that were like basically like you just copy and paste some like coding in there and it's like no problem. Now you can make a show very easily like this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that this show is groundbreaking in any way. But it did keep up with a trend that sadly still persists to this day. I am not a fan in general of 3D animated things. Like big exception would be Pixar stuff is usually really, really well done. But
even that is like getting a little mechanical at this point.
I love hand drawn. I love ink. I love things that were made by hand. None of this is made by hand.
Yeah, we're recording this in early November, and boy howdy am I looking forward to that new Miyazaki movie that's coming out next month. Which I highly recommend if you're of the mind of us, this anti 3D whatever. Go. I don't recall the name of it. I think there's a couple documentaries about him, but there's one where he is sort of open to the idea of using some computer generated stuff, some 3D modeling.
And he's having people pitch.
And people are pitching him. Yeah. And they show him just some horrific looking thing. And he just like goes off on the person. Like, this is the worst thing anybody's ever made. This is like an abomination against humanity.
I think that documentary was titled "The Saddest Cartoon Man in the World."
That's like, he is representing me in that moment.
Yeah.
But as a kid, if you refer back to our Donkey Kong Country, the game episode, I was in on the marketing gimmick.
Yeah.
So I was like, reboot. Oh, Donkey Kong Country 3D TV shows? They must be good. So I'd take the time to watch them, but they didn't stick with me because there was no there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's I would describe it as a soulless show. And apologies to any fans. You know what? No apologies. But if you're a big fan of this stuff, I would love to hear what you like about it. So give us a email, campvideogames@gmail.com, or just leave a comment below. Be sure to like and subscribe.
If you are such a fan that you can't take this critique without it emotionally bothering you, then I do think you have a problem.
Yeah.
This is like objectively like not well polished art. And I always like to preface when we're going to go into something that's like, there's not a lot to applaud. Like, I do like to respect like the individuals working on this probably didn't want to make something junky.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But this was not this is not the product of a passionate artist. This is people clocking in, doing their job because they are lucky enough to have gotten work in the animation field. And you don't get to choose what that project is in most cases. It's going to be whatever the company that you're working for has secured. And in this case, Donkey Kong Country.
And what I want to say is, okay, a little bit more of what's going on. Cranky's just lore dumping, world building as fast as he can with his weird little song. So we get introduced like, okay, in our world, there's the crystal coconut. Donkey Kong defends it. King K. Rool comes after it. And lo and behold, King K. Rool is there for it right here, right now.
He looks pretty good.
Song.
I like the character model for King K. Rool. He's got a big belly. But I'm just thinking about this. Like, why did a crocodile want the bananas? Crocodiles don't eat bananas.
Like I said, it's like if they're from a really impoverished place, that makes sense. Like it's just some form of nourishment that these people have a monopoly on.
So King K. Rool shows up at Cranky Kong's jungle hut, and his Kremlins.
Yeah.
They fire. Like it looks like they're shooting like super soakers at his roof, but then it turns out like little what are they called? Clap traps.
Yeah.
I hate saying that. Little clap traps are they start I guess they shot Claptraps out of their super soakers, and now they're eating Cranky Kong's roof.
Yeah, this is a clever thing. I just finished reading one of William Gibson, the sci-fi writer's most recent novels called The Peripheral. And this is actually like a weapon used in that is like, it's a gun that will target, I think just like specific DNA.
Yeah.
So it'll only hit certain people.
Cool.
And if you get hit by it, what it is it's like a colony of nanomachines that just devour you.
Nice.
Similar to like what this
Yeah.
is. I was like, okay, that's clever. That's some good sci-fi stuff.
It's like along the same like thought process of like a neutron bomb, where it's going to kill everybody living there, but it's not going to destroy the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the general idea behind. Like that was the selling point of the neutron bomb.
Yeah.
But I only know about that from Dead Kennedys. So, yeah. So these claptraps, these nanomachine claptraps are they're eating Cranky Kong's roof because they're trying to steal the crystal coconut. We then cut to Donkey Kong, and it looks like he's got a bunch of the same ties. Because Donkey Kong only wears a red tie.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Republican. And
so he wears to the conventions.
That's right.
You know?
And speaking of Republicans, Diddy Kong's wearing his MAGA hat.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go. I think they're gonna go protest at an abortion clinic.
Diddy Kong shows up. He's like, I thought we were gonna go tell those women that they need to raise these unwanted children.
So Donkey Kong has an elevator that's spring operated, and it seems to be that the harder he hits the button for the elevator, the faster and more powerfully the elevator, which is a barrel, will shoot up into his clubhouse. Diddy Kong is trying to get inside. Donkey Kong hits the button way too hard. Diddy Kong gets smashed, like the barrel smashes down. So it's a really bad design, Donkey Kong. I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just establishing that Donkey Kong, he's super strong. He's a big boy. What kind of primate is he? Is he a gorilla?
Yeah, he's a gorilla.
And they hear Cranky Kong call for help. So Donkey and Diddy Kong are both they're the enforcers of the island. They're their muscle. They're kept around for when the enemy attacks. So moving forward.
Well, first, what I'm trying to do over here is I'm trying to pull up a little game of the character voice actors. As we mentioned, there several of them are clearly like black coded in their voicing. So Donkey Kong's voice actor. What do you think?
Oh man, did they hire a white guy to do a black guy's voice?
So far, so good.
Hey,
we are
he's
one
black.
for one. They got an actual
Thank
black
God.
guy to do black
Thank
voice.
Man, don't scare me like that.
Richard Yearwood voiced Donkey Kong. Yeah.
Do you have any other notable roles?
I'm scrolling and not seeing anything. Like he's been working for sure, but not anything that's popping out to me. It's
Nothing
like,
camp video games, Jason.
We really know that we'll know this guy from this. Yeah, nothing like big video game or anime. Just like a lot of like B movie looking kind of stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, so it looks like he got work.
Right on.
That's good. Yeah.
What about Diddy Kong?
Diddy Kong. Let's see here. I gotta find my way back to that. Diddy Kong. Oh dang it! Hold on, everybody.
Uh-oh.
Well, so far he was born in Victoria, British Columbia.
That doesn't mean anything.
It's not, This here we go. Andrew Sabiston.
It's a white
That
fella.
being said, Diddy Kong is a little less coded. Yeah, he seems he's a little more neutral. He can kind of be whatever. We'll find more as we go.
Yeah, sure. So I think this show is very silly. It's got a lot of slapstick, very much like the games, where it's like, you know, the little cutscene at the very end of Donkey Kong Country where Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong they're pranking each other, or you know, they're doing these little yucks to each other. This is definitely in the same spirit. I would say this is a faithful adaptation of the Donkey Kong Country video games. It seems to be right in line. The character models look pretty similar. I mean, Diddy and Donkey Kong look better in the show than they do in the game, in my opinion, as a hater.
Yeah, that's debatable. You know, I feel like if we had the actual 3D models that were made on the Silicon Graphics workstations by Rare, I feel like those probably looked a little better than this.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, like color and shading and that kind of stuff's a little better here in the show.
Yeah. So Donkey and Diddy Kong, they show up to Cranky Kong's to save him, and they use some barrels to zanily launch the Kremlins off of a big, gigantic bridge, ostensibly killing them. Like, you're not gonna survive. They're up in the treetops. they're gonna. You remember in Return of the Jedi after the Ewoks like defeated the stormtroopers, and then you just see like
beating on their skulls and stuff.
Yeah. I could see Donkey Kong doing that.
Yeah,
having a bunch of gator skulls around. I hate how their mouths look when they talk.
Yeah,
that's a big thing. Like they're like the character animation is just so unsettling.
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's weird because this is not meant to be realistic, but it's got a lot of uncanny valley feel to it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, there is a cut after they've saved Cranky Kong, and Cranky Kong is like, now fix my roof, basically. And we go to King. Another thing, the characters can't agree whether or not to pronounce it Cruel or K-Rule. I feel like the voice acting direction was not that interested in being a stickler for
they
the
weren't
details.
all working like the same day in the same room with the same script supervisor.
So you'll hear different iterations of how to pronounce the main villain's name. I'd be like, oh no, Ganon is going to steal the Triforce. So King Cruel, he wants to steal the crystal coconut, and in order to do so, he realizes he has to find a way to render Donkey Kong powerless.
Yeah. And he finds this Samson and Delilah story.
If you'll all open your Bibles to Judges 16 of the, let's see. Delilah then said to Samson, all this time you have been making a fool of me and lying to me. Tell me how you can be tied. Basically, what they decide to do is, man, like, let's just blast through this. They build a robot Candy Kong to trick Donkey Kong into getting a haircut, which is the source of his power. And if you grew up in a religious family, that's a very familiar story. That is literally Samson and Delilah.
Right.
Why we are talking about the New Testament is that the New Testament? I don't even know, man. Whatever.
It feels Old Testament-y to me, but
you know what? Hail
Satan.
Satan.
Yeah, hail Satan. Who cares?
Why? It's just a weird story to adapt for the pilot episode of a show about monkeys. Monkeys and bananas and crystal coconuts and reptiles. There's just so Candy Kong, she's a fine specimen of a monkey lady, if I could say so myself. She works in a barrel factory.
Indeed, yeah. She has some sort of role in this barrel factory operation. And then there's
what's his name? Bluster?
Bluster Kong?
This is not a character I'm familiar with from the show, or from the game, that is. And he's
not from the game.
He looks like a villain from The Great Gatsby. Like he's got I guess that's a handlebar mustache.
Yeah.
or
And
like
then
a
he's
like
got a
twirl-
handlebar mustache and like a Hitler haircut, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like very hard part down the middle.
Well, Hitler had the hard part on the side.
Yeah, that's the difference. I don't know what this down the middle. I don't know.
It's a bad look, especially for a 3D animated monkey.
Yeah, and this guy sucks.
He owns the barrel factory, or his father owns the barrel factory, and he's trying to have sex with Candy Kong. And who's his employee? And the dynamics are off, and there are going to be some workplace. We got to make some reports here.
Yeah, some OSHA violations are happening.
Oh man, sidebar. I follow this great Instagram page of just like OSHA violations, of just like people doing horribly, horribly dangerous work on construction sites.
Nice.
And like, yeah, I think it's just called like, is this OSHA approved or something like that? I don't know. It's good stuff. I like videos of people getting like sort of hurt, not killed. Hate that stuff. But I like it when there's a couple of goof 'em ups.
Yeah.
So it's Candy Kong's birthday today. Here at Congo Bongo Island, and the boss man brought her a coconut cream birthday cake.
Yeah, she's not having it, right?
She's like we're to like, this is the first time we're seeing these two characters interact, but they're giving us some history here. They're just like, oh, she hates her boss. He's always trying to get with her, and she especially doesn't want her birthday to be ruined by a nice cake. Who eats cake on their birthday? Not Candy Kong, because she's watching her figure.
Oh, she says that.
Yeah.
I forgot.
She's like, I'm watching my figure. She's super rude. And it's fine because, like, you know, her boss is a creep. And I just hope there's other like job opportunities on Congo Bongo Island, because right now it's like this monopoly is not in favor of the people.
Yeah, but also from the dynamic being introduced to me between these characters, I'm like, you kind of deserve each other.
Yeah, they're both miserable people.
Yeah,
like
I don't want to be around either of these people.
Neither of them are like models of excellence
No.
or any sort of like role models. Especially, oh god, I just hate this Bluster Kong, because like I'm looking at like a side profile of him right now, and it's like he shaved the rest of his head to get this bad comb over thing.
it's hideous.
It's
unpleasant to look
really,
at.
like, not to be like, oh, like cartoons shouldn't have ugly characters. Like, it's great when there's ugly characters, but this is just like a bad. It looks bad. Like they like they did a bad job.
Yeah.
It
feels like they didn't really think about what he looks like from the side.
Yeah, and he's got shirt collars.
He's got French cuffs and no shirt.
Cuffs, that's it. Yeah. So between him and Donkey Kong, they've almost got a full top. They got a tie, and they've got cuffs. Ugh. There's just an ugly show. So Donkey Kong shows up, and he brings bananas to Candy Kong.
That's right.
Which I think she's also horrible to Donkey Kong too.
Oh yeah, I noted right away that it's a similar dynamic to Link and
Zelda for sure. It's like, what does he see in her besides those curves? Because like they endowed Candy Kong with a figure.
It's unnecessary.
It is crossing some wires, and this is definitely responsible for some like fetishes later in other people's lives. Not mine.
Yeah,
this didn't do it for me. I don't know if I ever watched
still not
this
jerking it to
at its original airing. You know, sometimes we give our history with these things, and like I never watched this on TV when it came out. It just totally missed me.
Yeah, so I did. I watched it as a fan of Donkey Kong Country a few times. Mm-hmm. I caught it. And even then I remember being aesthetically displeased and uncomfortable to the point that I'm like, I don't want this. And I was 10 or 11.
This seems like the kind of thing that would be on if you stay home sick from school.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not primetime cartoonage, but like it's there. Like, yeah, they already paid for it, so they might as well air it.
Yeah.
So Donkey Kong brings Candy Kong a bouquet of bananas, and she's just like, fuck you, Donkey Kong. Like, that is a bold assumption that I like bananas. What? Just because I'm a monkey? You assume I like bananas. Where it's also like that's their currency, I think. I don't know.
It's very the relationship to bananas is very confusing.
Yeah.
It was a lot simpler in the game.
So King Cruel develops a hyper lifelike Candy Kong sex robot.
It's like we're already operating in the uncanny valley, and they just double down.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Why not? So they've got a headless Candy Kong robot body, and then King Cruel is talking to the head, and he's like, I need everyone to leave the room.
Why, dude?
I don't want to finish this bit. So Candy Kong's robot is
is this where she sings a song?
Yeah, this sucks, dude.
I'm gonna pump in a little bit.
Yeah,
of it.
blast that shit.
It's weird, man. It's unpleasant. Like I
work through it, baby.
I can't. Like it's so unsettling.
Yeah, especially with her like I love body hair on a woman, but like her legs are all fur too. Just like what? I don't know, dude. Yeah, it's weird. And the song itself is just horrible. And you described it as like you didn't think that like maybe the voice actors could even hear the backing track that they're singing to.
Yeah, the backing track sounds like my day job used to be teaching music production to teenagers.
Humble brag.
And like there would be kids who had no interest in like understanding what's aesthetically pleasing to the ear, you know, but they knew enough to figure out how to like make sounds come into your like production.
So you're saying this sounds like it was made by disinterested children?
Yeah. There's like one kid specifically that comes to mind that like he would make like these the most like dissonantly unpleasant beats.
Oh, let's roast this kid.
And no, over time it kind of worked, and he was a rapper. He wasn't trying to sing to them, but when he would try to sing to them, it'd be weird. Where there's like, what's the key of this? Where's the melody?
Yeah.
Like that's what this like the backing tracks of this sound like. It's very unpleasant and very I don't know what was happening. I don't know if my guess would be like since this was French first for some reason, maybe it made a little more sense in French.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
But the music itself is still like very difficult to find a melody to put on top of.
Yeah. It's just it's not pleasant. it's just it's an unpleasant production.
Yeah.
And shout out to the Patreon subscriber who asked us to talk about this show. I think that she's a big fan too.
Make me sit in my discomfort a little while.
So basically, Robo Candy Kong shows up to Donkey Kong's bachelor pad, and she shaves his head. And the worst thing happens. We find out that Donkey Kong's head
I'm
is
sorry,
just...
does she call him sexy?
Yeah, she does. She says sexy.
In this children's cartoon?
Yeah. Let me cook. Donkey Kong's head is shaped the way it is. It's not a hairdo. That is so okay, if you're like you find a photo of Donkey Kong, he's got this like kind of like pompadour swirl thing. Yeah. No, that's the shape of his head according to this cartoon. It's the dumbest. Like I'm upset. Okay, it looks so bad, and I don't understand why they made this. Like at the end of the day, like this is the pilot episode to the show, and we talk about like video game levels, like you designed the first level last so that you could like really like you're firing on all cylinders and you
understand your world and how things operate.
I think this is just like, not only is this like, does this seem like the first episode that they wrote for this series, it also feels like the first episode the writer ever wrote ever.
And the first time any of them had experienced Donkey Kong as an intellectual property.
Yeah. So Candy Kong shaves Donkey Kong's head. Are they all related? Kong.
Dude,
they're
I
all
don't
Kong.
even-
It's like this is the Pac-Man. This is the Pac-Man debate where it's like Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. That implies they both have the same surname.
But she's Ms.
I know,
Yeah.
which means she's unmarried yet she's a Pac-Man, and then they
Yeah.
marry. That's an incestuous marriage.
Yeah.
So-
I think it's kind of the same vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Anyway, we cut to King K. Rool's dump truck ass.
dump truck. Yeah, we get like a behind view of him about to approach.
Oh, did we mention
Cranky
that
Kong.
DK loses his power? Did you
Oh,
mention that part?
right. So he gets his head shaved, and then he tries to use the elevator again. Which the first time he did it way too hard because he's super strong. And it seems to be like what is it? What's the sledgehammer thing? Where
Yeah, it's like the carnival game.
yeah, what is that game called?
I don't know.
You know the thing where you hit the thing with a sledgehammer and then it rings a bell. Like that's how the elevator seems to work for Donkey Kong, for some reason. And he can't get it up.
Yeah.
So now knowing that their Messiah is defeated, King Cruel shows back up to Cranky Kong's to steal the crystal coconut. And so Cranky Kong, he pretty much, I mean, he looks pretty much the exact same as he does in the cartoons, but like it's also weird, like they just chose what parts of him would go gray because he's covered in fur, but only his eyebrows and his beard are gray. I mean, I guess, does your head go gray before your like chest hair does, or I don't know.
Yeah, my progression was
Salt
from-
and pepper in the beard?
and the beard went stark white when I was like 24.
That's so cool. That
then
just
it-
means you're a cool dude.
and then it crept up from there. And now, yeah, I'm getting the side part area is getting that salt and pepper, and other places are, and I feel old. I tell you what.
I'm gonna live forever, man.
Yeah.
So Cranky Kong, he's doing his best to keep those bad boys away from their crystal coconut. Which is it's just a disco ball. Like it's whatever.
So he sends in his ring, or King K. Rool sends in his ringer Crusher, right? Is that his name?
I think he looks pretty big compared to
He's a
Donkey
big
Kong.
boy. Yeah. Donkey Kong is still faking like he's got his strength. Does the old let's punch his belly a bunch of times, nothing happens. And he loses steam. Donkey Kong can't do the job anymore.
I guess like the show did it right in the sense that like we first saw him defeat the Kremlins.
Yeah.
Like so we at least get to see what Donkey Kong is like at full power. But shouldn't King K. Rool have a tail?
I think he's got a little tail. I don't know. Yeah. He marches in and he just takes the coconut. Oh, he doesn't have a tail. Weird. Okay. But he
the
marches
Kremlin,
in.
or the Crusher does. I don't know, man. Not to just.
But
talk.
he marches in, he takes the coconut, and then Donkey Kong's lamenting like, "Whoa, something weird happened to my power when Candy cut my hair." And then this is where when my first watch, I was just kind of like lost steam and track of what's going on and how this is working out.
So Funky Kong.
I think I just got so sidewired by Funky Kong that like I was just like, I can't.
So why don't you describe what Funky Kong does in the game? Like, what's his purpose in relation to Donkey Kong?
Yeah, so Funky Kong, he runs Funky's flights, right? He's just like a California surfer bro who he's like or like a Silicon Valley tech bro who opens a Uber like company for flights. You know, that's his thing in the game. He shows up in this looking similar.
Yeah, he's got the bandana over the head. He's wearing some Oakleys.
Yeah, but I feel like maybe we should pump in some of his voice for a second. Let's see if we can get a little bit of Funky Kong.
Yeah, jaw funky.
Anxiety, takeoffs are a little rocky. How rocky?
That
Nothing I can't handle.
fake Jamaican
Maybe I
accent
should stay behind.
sounds like
Too late.
the shrunken head from Harry Potter 3. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Yeah, dude. That is wild that they did this. So
Oh, let's find out if this is a real Jamaican.
all right. Who's that voice actor? Funky Kong. All right. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about where this actor is from before I show you a picture.
Okay.
Born in Guyana,
Okay.
nationality Canadian,
Okay.
and his name Damon D'Oliveira.
That's a pretty cool name.
This is not a man who looks like he should be doing a fake patois.
Yeah.
As I show the picture to Sean.
He's like olive skinned, like not to be like, you know, I mean, an actor can play any role as long as they take it seriously.
Yeah.
But why him? Because
Yeah, I
like
don't know.
the Jamaican accent doesn't sound very good.
No. I don't
get
know,
it.
dude.
I just don't
But
get it.
and why did it need to be?
Right.
you know?
Why I was playing Donkey Kong Country. My brain says that Funky Kong sounds like Michelangelo, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Like, whoa, let's fucking fly in a plane that's shaped like a barrel for some reason.
Yeah. One more point to the voice actor. His first film production credit
Bob Marley.
was a movie called Save My Lost Beep Soul.
Wait, are you beeping it out of respect for not wanting to say a horrible word?
Yeah. The word that we would not say.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
No.
So, I mean, you know, maybe this dude's down. He seems down. I don't know. Maybe he's earned it.
Wait. Save my lost N-word soul?
Yeah. Soft day.
Oh no. Oh.
I don't know. That seems like it's probably like a legit, you know,
Be like,
it's Canadian.
oh, Jesus Christ. It's like, listen, we loved your work and saved my lost soul. loved your work in that one. Could you play a racist monkey next?
So the film is a story about two black Canadian brothers who live together but do not see eye to eye because one is a drug addict. Meanwhile, their roommate, an aspiring stand-up comedian, is planning to use material about their disputes in a forthcoming performance debut. I
would watch that.
I feel like my man's down. Probably not qualified to do the accent he's doing in this show.
It's just like, if you can't even say the title of the movie, like, you gotta come up with a better title of the movie.
I don't know. I'm not going to tell people what to name their movies.
I'm not either. I'm just saying, as an artist, I would make very, 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 very different decisions.
I'm not the language police here, you know? Do what you got to do. So that was a fascinating dive into the voice actor of Funky Kong.
Funky Kong, man.
I can't believe they did that.
Go on with you.
It's so weird. Interesting stuff. Wow. It's a lot of this I think comes down to like Canadian production. Was the show produced by a Canadian production company? Is that where a lot of this is coming from?
That might explain why it got a premiere in France first.
Yeah. A lot of weird stuff with this show. And you know, it's the 90s. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We got through it. We got through the 90s. We're fine.
Yeah.
The 90s can't hurt you anymore. So Cranky Kong is concocting a potion to help. Cranky Kong's making Rogaine.
Yeah, sure, man.
To bring back Donkey Kong's hair, which is apparently the source of his power.
Okay.
God, I hate that his head is just shaped like that. Like it's like the top of like a soft serve ice cream scoop, you know, that like ugh. I hate.
I'm also now noticing on top of it all that Funky Kong is albino.
Oh my God.
I don't know. It makes it weirdly work a little better for me. So yeah, what are they looking for?
So basically what just happened is that Donkey Kong went to the banana forest
as one does,
to eat bananas to helpfully regrow his hair.
Oh.
He eats too many and then he has a full belly and he's got to sit down for a while. Candy Kong and
Bluster
Kong, they show up to Cranky Kong's
lab
meth house, and basically they're realizing now that a doppelganger did the haircut.
Okay.
Because Candy Kong's like, I didn't cut his hair, and they're like, yeah, I believe you because you're so pleasant.
Just a wonderful lady to be around. Yeah. Okay. So they get some concoction.
Cranky Kong gives the hair growth formula to Candy to give it to Donkey Kong. And now we cut to King Cruel, and with one of his lieutenants, the one that like the crocodile wearing the army helmet and looks like a World War II GI. He's given like his like villain boss speech to his minions. He's like, we got the crystal coconut, and apparently that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The
MacGuffin is ours.
And the lieutenant tells him that his informants have discovered that Cranky Kong made a hair growth formula that will revert, and they keep referring to they keep talking about voodoo as if like that was something that had to do with like why Donkey Kong lost his power.
This was another layer of you're losing me.
Yeah. Yep.
Just like,
and that's why we're only talking about it for this one episode.
Yeah, it's like, hey, here's a thing that's weird to white people. Let's call it voodoo. It's like, oh, jeez.
Oh man. So en route to Donkey Kong, Bluster and Candy take a helicopter that's shaped like a barrel, and apparently the wings probably got eaten by those nano clap traps, I suppose. It didn't happen on camera.
Yeah,
It's really hard to say.
They just lost their rotors and collapsed out of nowhere a little.
And so Bluster Kong, I hate his name. He doesn't want to help Donkey Kong, so he takes the potion from Candy and just pours it out. I was hoping he would drink it so that he could get a different haircut.
Why wouldn't he do that sooner?
I don't know, but upon pouring it out, it's like we're back at the amateur magician competition from The Legend of Zelda. Just a giant plant sprouts from where he poured the potion. So I guess it's not a hair growth formula. Or like, was Donkey Kong supposed to drink it?
I think it'll just cause growth.
But a banana tree grows from it. Like,
yeah, maybe he poured it where a banana seed tree.
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
So, the tree grows, and it's the largest tree in the forest. And Diddy Kong sees the tree. He's like, Donkey Kong, check out the size of that banana tree.
You seeing them nanners I'm seeing? Look at how fat he is. That's great. Yeah. Donkey Kong got fat from eating too many
Donkey
bananas.
Kong, he ate too many bananas, and now he's incapacitated. I hate the way their chapped lips look, too. It's just so disgusting.
Everything's so unpleasant to look at.
Apparently, eating a banana from the magic tree grew his hair back. So it wasn't just any banana. He had to eat the right banana.
Sure.
This is the type of lore that people really want out of, they want the magic to just be like, whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, just He grows back, and immediately smash cut to DK falling into King K. Rool's lair, in between Crusher, King K. Rool, and the crystal coconut, ready to go.
Yeah. Is Crusher, was he a boss in the game? No, no, he wasn't.
No, he
Crusher.
was just one of the big guys. Only DK can jump.
Yeah.
on.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah. So Donkey Kong, he's about to take that crystal coconut back, and man, the Crusher, he's wearing like a singlet, like a wrestling unitard.
Yeah.
And it's the way that it like covers where the nipples would be is like, I was like thinking about that. Like, what's the point of a unitard? Like, just wear shorts. I don't know. I'm not a wrestler.
Yeah. So the problem is solved by DK doing a single drop kick of the crystal coconut out of the Crusher's hands. It goes flying across the entire jungle and lands directly on its spot in Cranky Kong's home.
Yeah, that is correct.
Problem solved.
There's not much payoff for this. It's kind of an underwhelming like conclusion where it's like, okay, great. Like Donkey Kong saved the day. He should just like kill King Cruel, right? Like he should just like probably just like while he's there. And we go back to the Donkey Kong bachelor pad and Candy Kong. She's got a little present for Donkey Kong.
But there's two Candy Kongs.
Two better than one, baby. Not to keep referencing the Legend of Zelda cartoon, but this is Link literally did the same exact thing here. Where he's got the two Candy Kongs / 2 Zeldas being like, I'm the real one. No, I'm the real one. And he's like, let's just all have sex.
Yeah, which interestingly in both of these, it's like this dynamic that's being taught to the young boys watching this is like, if a woman is outwardly sexual or whatever, then she's not real. She's manipulating.
Oh my goodness.
If a woman is only women who are just cruel to you are actually, that's like what women are like.
Love is cruel.
Yeah, a very misogynistic kind of take.
Yeah, I don't think Donkey Kong Country passes the Bechdel test.
I think it fails a lot of checks.
I don't think it passes like the morality test. I don't know. It's just all it's a little grimy. I hate the way it looks. I can't say that enough.
It is unpleasant to look at.
Yeah. I really wonder what type of the only like curiosity I have about this show at this point is pretty much morbid. I'm like, how do they do this for more than one episode?
Right.
So in order to find out which Candy Kong is the real one, Donkey Kong, he just gives Candy Kong a kiss and her robot head explodes.
Yeah.
And
in case this hasn't been an unpleasant experience enough, you have this really unpleasant like jerking of the robot and exploding in his face.
Yeah, like she's like glitching out.
Yeah.
It's like the fembots in Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Well, he literally did the same thing that Austin, he overwhelmed her with his sexuality.
Wow.
Man.
That's... So did Candy leave mad? Is that?
Yeah,
okay.
Candy left mad. That's episode 1 of Donkey Kong Country, and you know what? That's enough.
I'm good. Again, if somebody works on this show, no hate to them. It's a show needs a leader.
There's a lot of French names in the credits for this show,
so blame them.
Yeah, but blame the
It's
French.
okay to blame the French.
Blame Canada. Blame Canada.
Exactly. Lord, what a weird ride that is.
Yeah. It's over.
I I like feel a visceral discomfort around.
You know, we were talking before the show started, and how I said, like, I watched this episode this morning and I actually enjoyed it. I was wrong. I think it was just that, like, the edibles hadn't kicked in yet.
Yeah.
And I just needed to focus on something.
Can you, is anything left in your brain, like thoughts of things you enjoyed?
Well, I do like the theme song. It reminds me of the theme song from Tailspin, where it's like kind of that, like, I don't know what the specific genre is, but it's like African pop music kind of thing, where it's like a little kind of calypso, kind of reggae, kind of like a mishmash of Guyanese, Nigerian. I don't know what the genre is called, but it's a pretty cool song. But speaking of pretty cool songs related to Donkey Kong.
So you're talking about pretty cool songs.
Yeah, you know,
mean cool songs like this, which is also very much the same vibe.
We're just gonna round up. We're gonna leave this episode with a good taste in our mouths. That's from the classic, the banger,
yeah,
the innovator,
DK Rap. Which
DK Rap
goes back to my review of Donkey Kong Country. Like, this ain't your mama's Donkey Kong, you know? They really thought, they really thought, like, the kids need a refresh of Donkey Kong's not cool anymore. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
We're gonna give him a gun.
Oh, campers. Speaking of animated Donkey Kong versions, if you go over to patreon.com/campvideogames, you can listen along as Junior Counselor Josh and I watch the original Donkey Kong cartoon adaptation from the Saturday Supercade series from, I believe it was NBC, from 1982, I believe, or maybe 3. It's better than Donkey Kong Country cartoon, in my opinion.
I absolutely 100%. Yeah,
it's
great,
very different, but yeah, like, join us over there at patreon.com/campvideogames if you want to experience some. We're gonna be watching those episodes, like both of us, just fresh, never seen them before. It's half of us just reacting to what's going on the show, and the other half is just, this is our opportunity to kind of bullshit and be off topic and enjoy ourselves. So if you like that kind of vibe, please join us over there. Patreon.com/campvideogames. Any other housekeeping, Junior Counselor?
I'm still vibing to the DK Rap.
Oh yeah, let's get some.
I'm trying to refresh. Like, is there anything I kind of missed in that review of the show? I love to try to find something worthwhile in anything, but, like, I think Donkey Kong Country might be a bad franchise.
I wholeheartely agree with you. I don't like the video games. I don't like the cartoon. What else is there to like? If there's a novelization of Donkey Kong Country, maybe I'll like that, but I super doubt it.
It's very much a product of its time, and it doesn't age well graphically, thematically, presentationally.
Gameplay wise, it's kind of like,
I mean, I'll still fire up DKC 1 and 2 every once in a great while.
Yeah,
but
the sequel?
If you're out there, like, standing for Donkey Kong, you know,
is the sequel?
There's
where
other
they introduced Trixie Kong? Or is that even what? Because there's the one with the ponytail.
Dixie Kong.
Dixie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Dixie shows up in the cartoon as well. At some point.
Okay. She wasn't in episode 1.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna watch the rest of those.
Yeah. I wish I could. I think there's some story about how they gave Donkey Kong a gun in Donkey Kong 64.
Interesting.
And Miyamoto being like, that's not really what we do here.
We don't solve our problems with guns. We're not American.
I think the compromise was like, it only fires coconuts.
Interesting, because Diddy Kong he has a gun in Super Smash Brothers.
Diddy Kong has a peanut gun.
Yes.
And I think that's also introduced in DK64.
Nice.
But the thing is, in the that DK rap, it's like Donkey Kong's here and he has a motherfucking gun now. It's like how he's introduced.
God.
That's the 90s in a nutshell.
Yeah.
It's like, what if your favorite cartoon ape had a gun?
Campers, that's all. We're done talking about Donkey Kong Country. Be sure, send us an email. Tell us other series and properties you'd like us to explore here at Camp Video Games, because this was a request, and just because you requested doesn't mean we're going to like it, but we'll talk about it.
I don't want the requestee to feel bad, because I wanted to do it before them.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I knew how bad this show was, and I knew what a harbinger the graphical styling of Donkey Kong Country was for what I disliked about video games for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of set that up as we move then further along into Final Fantasy VII, which is our next long form.
That'll be our next big old batch of good.
Yeah.
Campers, thanks for hanging out. And visit us Instagram at Camp Video Games. Send me an email, campvideogames@gmail.com. Let me know what you want. I actually care.
Irie.
If you'd like to write to us, send a message to campvideogames@gmail.com and follow us on Instagram at Camp Video Games. If you want to become a real happy camper, you can support Camp Video Games on Patreon. For $5 a month, you'll be granted access to even more discussions about movie-based video games, game-based movies, full-length commentaries, playthroughs, and more. Whether you sign up or not, we're glad to have you here at Camp Video Games.